We're coming now to a brand new section of my garden, which is the farm. These are edible plants, which I'll tell you a little bit about. I'm waiting to see if the amount of sun we get is sufficient to produce the crops that I'm trying to grow. Here are two different kinds of lettuce. Even panning or zooming way in, you see that they look more like clover or something than lettuce at this point, but we're hoping for the best here. This is another kind of lettuce called miner's lettuce, which apparently does well with less light, but I don't know, it looks a little bit like bad grass at this point. The mustard, however, seems to be doing quite well. I'm thrilled with the mustard. I've already tasted some, and it tastes very nice and mustardy. Here's some parsley, which was doing really well, but I brought it outside when it got really hot in April, and I was a little early because it got very cold again after our 90-degree days, and some of the plants that I had brought out at that time didn't like the cold, and well, you see the result. They're kind of spindly, but you know, it's sunny and warm again, so you never know. These pepper plants, green peppers, I also brought out, I think, before it was consistently warm enough, so it remains to be seen. Down here we have spearmint and the sad remnant of what were some really great looking morning glory seedlings that came out again when it was too cold, and there you see sticking up out of the soil, maybe I should point to it, there, a new seedling. I planted some more because I don't think that one's going to do much. Here are some beans that are looking like they're going to do great. Here are peas, which are also looking really happy. I gave them this pole to climb up. You can see how optimistic I am that someday these little plants will climb all the way up there and produce peas. Basil and more basil that didn't like the cold. These little things are from my friend Jim's yard in Poughkeepsie. Well, it was his yard, but I believe he has sold his house by now, so this is what remains of, for me, of Jim's house in Poughkeepsie. These are some seedlings that grew up around his Rose of Sharon bush. They are Rose of Sharon, which hopefully will bloom someday, but I imagine that might take several years. I'm going to go over here. These maple trees are also from his yard. I've had them now for about 3 or 4 years, and you can see that they've become a little forest. I don't know if you can see the paper clips that I've put in there to train this tree, kind of like a bonsai tree, into an interesting shape. But it's so leafy right now that you can't really see the shape of the tree. Back to the edible garden. Down there are cucumber plants, and I tried eating one of those leaves, and they are the most bitter taste you can imagine. Hoping that the cucumbers that grow on them will be more delicious. Here is a laundry rack that somebody was throwing away on 21st Street the other day, and I carried home on a dog walk. I have put it here, optimistically again, hoping that one day it will be covered with cucumber vines that are laden with cucumbers. Here's my old favorite, the jasmine plant, which just does better and better every year. It does not seem at the moment to have any flowers on it, but maybe in the next video. Here's a little azalea that I bought early in the season when it was covered with flowers. This one red and white candy stripe flower is all that's left of that. Here is an orchid, or the leaves and roots of an orchid anyway, that Peter got me for my birthday a couple years ago. And we are waiting patiently for a possible second blooming cycle, but I don't know anything about orchids really, so I'm not even sure that's going to happen. Here is a spider plant grown from a baby off my other spider plant. Oops, there's a weed. I'm going to weed that pot. Here is a tree, some kind of spruce bush that got really bushy this year. You can see it's like almost fuzzy texture, and it about doubled in size from what it was in the winter. I think that's doing quite well out here. Well, that about does it for the outside part of my garden. I'm going to quickly invite you into our messy living room to show you the inside plants. Another spider plant from Peter's mom, which is getting ready to produce babies, which I've already promised to my student and friend Stephanie Fitro, who recently was in the cast of Legally Blonde, the musical. Here is a beautiful ivy plant that is doing well. It was a clipping from my mom. We're walking through the house now to my teaching studio, where I will show you my remaining few plants. Helps a little light here. This is a snake plant from Peter's mom. It was a little baby and it's doing beautifully. Some more spider plants. They produce a lot of babies, so I tend to have a lot of those. Here's a pretty little jade plant, something else I rescued from the trash. It had 6 leaves only when I got it out of the trash, and no roots. I just stuck it in the soil, and as you can see, it has about doubled in size, and I'm really happy. It's sort of like a rescue dog. It's like a rescue plant. This is some sort of bromeliad that was really huge and grew a big red flower in the middle. The big part died, but it produced this little baby plant next to it, which I stuck in the ground and rooted too. So these are both, in a sense, rescue plants. And this gorgeous little guy, potted so gorgeously, and I don't know if you can make this out, but it's tied to its post here with tiny little straw bows. Anyway, this was a gift that I got this week from my student Dana, and she's from Canada and came to New York City for 1 month to study voice with me, and gave me this plant on the day before she left. So thank you, Dana. It's going to be a proud member of my teaching studio window garden. All right, well, thank you everybody for watching this, and maybe I will make another video later in the season and hopefully have lots of delicious vegetables to show you.